Carl and Damon here from Games, Brains and Head-Banging Life, gbhblofficial for short, and it's They Made What into a TV series, Pac-Man and the Ghostly Adventures, episode 13 of season 2. Happy holidays and a merry, merry day. Written by Ken Pontac and Sean Catherick Derrick. Ding dong, merrily and high. It is not even close to Christmas, but here you freaking go. We are doing a Christmas episode. We got to do them in order, right? And this is just when this one comes out. I do have some interesting facts here, though, just to remind people, because we did talk about this at the very start of this episode run, and I feel like it's worth repeating here. In some territories around our world, the real world, the second half of season 2 was distributed as season 3. So in some scenarios, perhaps where you live and what you're watching, you may see this as the finale of season 2. Yeah. It's listed as such on Wikipedia, but we in this country, based off the Radio Times, the UK, made it one whole season. We are following that format. This is the halfway point of season 2 for us. Even though I acknowledge that in some territories, season 2 was split into 2 for some reason. So we had 26 episodes in season 1, and instead of having 26 episodes in season 2, some territories split them into 13 and 13. Doesn't make much sense to me, so we are sticking, because there was a gap. What it was an air date gap. That's what happened here, but that doesn't make it any difference. And particularly when you jump into the and the thing is, like, weirdly, you can almost see this as like a season finale. You can almost see that. I get that. So if you want to see it that way, you totally can. But for our sakes, we will be writing and listing it and talking about it from a season 2 perspective going forward, regardless. So we should say this episode is a 2-parter. However, the second part of it does not come to the end, or elsewhere in the elsewhere in the latter half of the season, and technically it's a 2-part. Basically, it was produced as part of a 44-minute project, a Christmas 44-minute project. It's soon to be Merry Berry Day, basically Christmas. But my God, how nice was it not to hear it called Pack Day or something? You know, like, I'm generally surprised they didn't call it Merry Packmas.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But no, it's Berry Day. And everyone is jolly, in particular, Spiral and Silly. They tease Skibo before helping Cersei decorate a big tree in the centre of town. It feels very Christmassy. I liked it.
Yeah.
Where's Pac? Well, that's what they're wondering, as it seems as though he's down in the dumps because he misses his parents the most at Christmas. Brilliant.
Potential.
Fucking brilliant. Of course. I mean, God, that's a really powerful angle to approach, because of course the holidays are difficult for a lot of people. It can be a wonderful time for many people, but for a lot of people it's a very, very hard time, and they just kind of want to get through it. The idea that Pac maybe doesn't love Christmas or Berry Day because it makes him miss his parents more because they're not there and he doesn't have that memory and time with them, I thought was fantastic. And here's the thing. Now, normally you expect me to go and the show fucks it up. It doesn't. It doesn't quite. It takes a different angle than I expected.
Yeah.
But they are fair enough to keep this at the forefront of their mind, because it kind of dictates a lot of Pac's poor decision making here. Because they plan to go check it out, but then he comes jumping in giddy and happy, which is very confusing. They expected him to be down in the dumps. Okay. He's so happy that even Betrayus is confused. Betrayus is watching and thinking, like, the hell's going on here? But being Betrayus is like, well, I'm going to ruin that. I've got to find a way to ruin that. The Ghost Gang are also watching, and the others tease Pinky, suggesting it's because Pac might have a girlfriend. Not a good idea, because Pinky isn't just jealous. Pinky is that insane level of jealous. I reckon in a darker show, this is how Pac-Man meets his end. Murdered by Pinky.
Yeah.
Because she goes to confront Pac, which she does at school, and she basically wants to know why he's so happy, but he refuses to tell her. And she's like, can't or won't, and he says, I can't. But she's furious. And there is a funny scene where she kind of doesn't make her anger clear, and Pax kind of says to the rest of the Ghost Gang, like, oh, girls are weird, kind of thing. And they're like, yeah, too true, brother. You know, like that kind of thing. Afterwards, Pac heads into the maze, seemingly heading off to meet someone. However, he's also being tracked by Betrayus and Dr. Buttocks, who are planning an ambush. Why? Like, A, how are they tracking him? B, why? Like, why bother ambushing him? Because, like, we know what this means. He's confronted by ghosts, and even without berries, he deals with them. Okay,
Hmm.
the numbers become too great and he has to kind of run away, but like it's still just ghosts. There's no
Yeah.
threat here.
Nope.
But he's rescued by his parents. Okay. Right. I thought, all right. They're just there. And Pac's like obviously very happy to see them, but it appears he's already been communicating with them, which I liked as well. It's like, okay, this isn't a surprise. It's the first time he's seen them, but he's clearly been communicating with them. And it turns out they're back here to complete a secret mission. And they've basically sworn Pac to secrecy. Don't tell anyone here. We're on a secret mission, blah, 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 blah. Okay, I'm suspicious.
Yep.
It's because, of course, this is too easy. But I was initially like, well, what if this is generally how straightforward it is? I was like, I could deal with this.
Yeah, and I thought maybe it's like Betrayus made a machine, some bloody
No,
image
Betrayus
machine.
doesn't know. I knew it wasn't Betrayus because Betrayus doesn't know. He was as sucked as it was. I thought it was a pointy head plan.
Mm,
I thought we were doing Final Fantasy Unlimited and it would be his parents under the control of the pointy heads.
yeah,
Anyway, leaving the maze, he has to hide his parents from Silly, and in a desperate moment, and a very weird moment, swallows them both, annoying Silly as he tries to speak with his mouth full. When gone, though, his parents are annoyed, praising his quick thinking and comparing it to some of their previous adventures. And as he walks off, he's like, all right, we'll go back to my dorm. And he walks off. The show ruins it. Fucking ruins it. Why not keep us in the dark? Because what they actually do now is share a sinister look as it becomes clear their plan is to separate from his friends. But they look at each other with a sinister look, and I'm like,
yep,
imagine we were kept in the dark to the reveal. Later, in his dorm, Spiral returns and wants to go to bed, but Pac is hiding his parents in the room, so has to stop Spiral going in. Making up a lie about presents, forcing Spiral to go and sleep with Skibo, who is a snorer, sleep talker, and sleep tutor. Because, haha, kids like farts.
yep,
The next day, Spiral is exhausted and is with Silly as they plan to find out what is going on with Pac. They start to follow him and watch in shock as he manages to not eat a pie, because that's the most shocking thing. See, I like that joke. The idea that's what's really suspicious is that Pac won't eat a pie, you know?
yeah, exactly. Oh, yeah,
He's bringing it to his parents and they eat it together, or they would, except they devour it before he can even get a slice. But then, like, in a random rushed moment from outside later that night, Cilly and Spiral see Pac's shadow wearing his dad's hat. And they're like, oh, he's been wearing his dad's hat for ages. But then they see a second taller shadow also wearing a hat. And they then come to the immediate conclusion that this is Pac's dad. And I was like, huh? So they contact Sir C, and now we cut immediately to everyone in the lab, including Pac's parents. And I was like, oh my God, you had no idea. So you just thought, fuck it. Don't bother. Just make everybody just know.
yep,
Wow.
yeah,
There we go. Everybody knows, oh, this group. And they claim they can't be found because they're being hunted by their enemies. I mean, they're so fucking vague about it. But, oh my God, thank God Sir C is not like, he won't, he's like, you're being, like, he's basically, you're being vague about this. So he tries to ask questions, they keep blowing him off. And he talks about an incident during the war, one that makes him very suspicious because their facts, particularly regarding a scar on Pac's father's face, don't match up. And they kind of mock Sir C, suggesting he's old and his memory isn't holding up and all that. And that I thought was cool. Actually makes him angry. And he sends them away, claiming he's tired. It's basically kind of like, no, get out. Something's not right here. I was down. I was down. I
yep,
really, really enjoyed Sir C calling them out, spotting the issue, because we're aware there's an issue right now, but it's all based around a photograph, and that photograph will kind of be the thing that finishes the episode.
yeah,
Back in Pac's dorm, his parents point out the Pac did warn him, and they then rudely send Cillian and Spiral away. But Pac is so enamored with his parents that he apologized to Cillian and Spiral, but he's so enamored with them. And I was like, this is good though. This is good because he's wanted his parents back, and
yeah,
like, he's not seeing the obvious signs that they aren't. And he hasn't seen his parents in such a long time. He may not know their personality. He might believe his parents are decent people, but chances are they're more balanced than that, and he might have moments of rudeness and stuff like that.
it's expected, you know. So he hasn't seen him in so many years, so he's blinded. He's blinded by it.
Yeah, it's clever.
Hmm.
Now, along with his parents, to reveal what they need. They need access to the Tree of Life because once a year on Berry Day, a special berry grows, and if they eat it, it will destroy a tracker that is implanted in their cells. So they're being tracked on a cellular level. And if Pac doesn't help them, they'll have no choice but to leave to continue running from their enemies. That's good. That's good. I'm
It's,
like,
it's
yeah.
it's good writing for once.
Because the berries do affect, and by actually saying it's a tracker on a cellular level, the berries change Pac's cellular structure. They change him. So this is all believable. I'm like, holy shit, what's
Yep.
going on? So obviously, you know, the fact they'll have to leave here agrees. So he helps sneak his parents into the Tree of Life chamber, but annoyingly, at least for me, Cilia and Spiral follow too. So I was like, oh, don't rush to it, man. Take our time here. We could do something clever here.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Cersei has finally found a picture of Pac's parents, taken shortly before he disappeared, and they prove what he suspects is the scar on Pac's father's face is on the wrong side. So it's basically comparing to Cersei what we already know. So, they're imposters. Now that just, I was happy because we need to be revealed and we already knew something odd was going on. But
Mhm.
specifically, the hollow clones. Who is to blame? Well, suck the buttocks. Now that's not a surprise to a degree. But what I actually thought was this is a great idea. This is a genuinely great idea. And I love that he kept Betrayus in the dark because he kind of did it off his own back for Betrayus and in like or like for his leader. But by keeping Betrayus in his dark, you could argue he went further with his plan than Betrayus would have.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
He still fucks up though because he reveals his hand too soon. He reveals it too soon, and he also for some reason brings Cersei into the room, having been captured by ghosts.
Hmm.
Just it. Just bring everybody that can defeat him into one room.
Yep. Indeed.
Pat can't use a power berry as his fake parents took them all. Spiral and Celia arrive, but Dr. B destroys the hoverboards and looks like they're finally going to escape with a tree. Yeah, right. That isn't true. Cersei reveals the special berry story is true, and it's right at the top. I was like, oh, okay. So the parents actually told a specific true story rather than a lie one.
Yep.
Maybe don't do that next time.
Hmm.
Also, how would Cersei know that? Like, how would he know that that story was true? Did he hear it repeated? He wasn't in the
Yep.
room when they told fucking Pac. But how can Pac get to it? Especially as the ghosts are now well and truly taking the tree away. In fact, they're outside with it, flying it away. Well, nice and easy. Using a rocket they used to decorate the Berry Day tree to launch him into the Tree of Life. Some ghosts hilariously try to stop him, but you know we all know how that goes.
Yep.
Uh, and what does the berry do? Well, to be fair, they said it was a powerful berry, and it actually does live up to this because he basically, it's like a fucking star that just
Yeah.
blasts every ghost into nothing in an instant. I was
Hmm.
like, whoa, that's now, I get it as well. It's supposed to be the star on the top of a tree. It's right on the top of the tree. That's what I liked it all, but I was like,
Yeah.
that's power. I was that shit. I liked it. I liked how it looked. I think it's one of the stronger animation moments as well. But I was like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Definitely.
powerful. Dr. Beatbox is chomped, and the picture he used to clone his parents is ripped up. Everything is back to normal, and we see it's a snowy, berry day as Pac reflects on his lost parents. That is until a piece of the torn picture floats down and shows his parents pointing with their thumbs to a specific, like they're doing that, to a star in the distance. Is that where they are? Is that where they are? Stop teasing us, you dicks. Stop doing that, man. Because I'm like, oh, man, awesome. They added a little bit more detail to it and the potential of where they might be. That was cool, you know? I really like
Hmm.
that. I don't know, but I know it's a tease.
See, when I first read the name of the episode, I thought, okay, oh, we might get like a Grinch parody. Maybe Dr. Box to try and steal presents, you know, be the Grinch, blah blah blah. But then when I saw the whole parents thing, I thought for me a better line would have been forget Dr. Box and all that being creating the clones. I thought it would have been better that these clones actually learn all the information from his parents because they're being held prisoner, and they come here to steal it because on information of their parents. And at the end, the whole hint with the picture would have been perfect. Your parents are on this place.
You know, they're get buttocks out, and it was pointy heads. It was fucking the pointy head leader. And they cloned the parents, took the details from them, and sent them to do this to get that specific berry as a powerful weapon to eventually use. That's all it had to be. Didn't have to. You're absolutely right, and it wouldn't have changed much, but it would have made the overall arcing parent plot, because we know the parents are linked to the pointy heads based on previous episodes, and it keeps that link there. Instead, all we get is this kind of ending link, and I don't think we needed a ghost at all in it, because then we could have made more sense to have Brrraains as surprise. In fact, I would have then thrown in a couple of scenes where Brrraains is going around the netherworld going, who came up with this idea? Was it you?
Yep.
And like that, trying to find out almost like a B-side story. And everybody going, no, it wasn't. And then he finds out himself at the end, and he's angry about that because he doesn't like the pointy heads. There was a more, I think, a cleverer angle. That being said, I think it's a fantastic episode.
Yeah. Don't get me wrong. It's a great episode, and like the simple answer too. Also, just to solve the issue of if Pac goes off world, who's going to protect Pac? Well, it's simple. Pac and the Ghost have got to join forces to defeat the pointy heads.
Yeah,
they're the main threat. So you have to work together.
Yeah, I think that's something you could do as well. But like, you know, as a Christmas episode, it's great. It feels very Christmassy. It looks great, and the story is clever. I ultimately am going to praise it because it brings back an overarching story plot based around his parents, but it actually feels like we move things a little forward, and I think it tells a solid understory, like a vein running through about Pac's willingness to, like, he loves his parents and misses them so much that he will make mistakes like this. I think it's a really interesting angle for not just a ghost but others to take advantage of. I think that's clever, and I think that's the right level of storytelling that you aim at a child who will understand while still enjoying the Christmassy aspects and that, but also the emotional level of Pac's betrayal and all the things related to that. I think it's up there as one of the strongest we've seen in the show overall, not just this season.
Yeah. I was going to say it's easily one of the top probably 5 episodes of the show so far. Yeah.
100% agree. That is episode 13 of season 2. Happy holidays and a merry berry day. You got any thoughts on it? You know what to do? Let us know in the comments. Thank you very much for watching. If you've enjoyed what you've seen, please consider hitting that like and subscribe button. It does help us out. You can find us at gbhbl.com and across all social media platforms. And if you really want to give us a bit of extra support, please consider buying us a cup of coffee over on our coffee page. Thank you.